In my second video, I will continue with the example of single transaction approach. I hope it is visible. Purchase, let's presume that we have purchased a plant or the goods worth $10,000 on 1st March 2020. Spot rate, that is on the date of transaction, that is 1st March 2020, that was 40 rupees. And the exchange rate at the year end, that is 31st of March, that is 45 rupees. And exchange rate on the date of settlement, that is 50 rupees. So how to deal with the exchange rate difference on 31st March and 30th April? But I remind you again that three important dates are deciding dates in the foreign exchange currency problem. That is date of transaction, date of settlement, and the date of interruption. As transaction is taking place in 1920 year and the settlement will reach in 20 and 21 financial year. So date of interruption is year end, 31st March 2020. So on the date of transaction, we'll record that is purchase counted to supplier, that is 4 lakh rupees. $10,000 multiplied by exchange rate on 1st March, that is 40 rupees. Then on 31st March, we'll record the exchange difference that is there. That is the rate of exchange rate is 45. Earlier it is 40. So difference is rupees 5. And the amount that we have to pay to the exporter for the export of plant, that is $10,000, that is 50,000. So we'll record the transaction purchases counted to supplier because we have to adjust any difference in the original amount as I stated earlier in my first video. So $10,000 multiplied by difference, that is 5 rupees. So it is 50,000. Purchases counted to supplier. 4,50,000 will become the total amount payable to supplier, and purchases will become 4,50,000 when we will add up these amounts. Thereafter, on the date of settlement, again the difference has arisen, that is 50 rupees. No, exchange rate is 50 and the difference is 50 minus 45 because 45 is adjusted on 31st of March. That is there. Now, difference is again 5 rupees. The amount payable is $10,000. So it is 50,000. That is stock account debited 50,000 to supplier 50,000. Now we can't open or continue the purchase count because nominal counts are for the year only for the year. Now the financial years have changed. The purchases done earlier has become the stock. So it is adjusted in the stock. The entry will become stock on debt to supplier 50,000. Hence amount payable to the supplier is $10,000 into 40, the original amount, plus difference on 31st March and the difference on the date of settlement, that is 30th April, that is 50 rupees. So it is 5 lakh rupees. And we can check it out by preparing the supplier count also. Here the advantage is it is very simple to use, undoubtedly, but the basic problem is the supplier can never decide the cost of goods sold. If he makes a sales of these goods or that plant midway, he never knows whether he is going to gain or lose. So he can never decide the cost of goods sold. So he can never decide the selling price in general. Then I move to the second example, rather second method, that is double transaction approach. And in the double transaction approach, It is assumed that original transaction and the subsequent transaction constitute separate events. They are not taken one. They are recorded and treated separately, differently. So, for the sake of convenience, we generally open a forex account, and any exchange difference is always transferred in that account, and the any difference that arises, that may be exchange loss, that may be exchange gain, and that is always treated as per the law of the land of the respective country. We'll see one Indian accounting rule states how to deal with the exchange difference, and the Americans will decide the exchange difference according to their law of land, according to their accounting rules. So I hope it is clear. There is no confusion. Now, continuing the same example, on the date of transaction, that is 1st March, $10,000 into 40, that is purchases counted to supplier 4 lakh rupees. Then 31st March, now exchange rate is 45 and that was 40 earlier, so difference is 5 rupees multiplied $10,000, that is forex count debited to supplier. Now purchase count is not adjusted. Reason, original count is treated separately than the any later development in the foreign exchange. So forex count is a separate count debited, that is 50,000, and to supplier, that is 50,000. Thereafter, on the date of settlement, again the difference has gone up by 5 rupees. So $10,000 into 5, that is 50 minus 45. So it is the total amount payable to supplier is 4 lakhs on 1st March, difference, then 31st March, difference 50,000, again on 30th April, that is 50,000. So it becomes 5 lakhs. And purchases remain untouched, undisturbed, that is 4 lakh rupees. And forex count is 50,000 plus 50,000 debit, that means a loss, and that will be taken or treated as per the accounting rules or the law of the land. Here the advantage of this method is we can decide the cost of goods sold instantly, and we can also decide, you can say, the selling price. And obviously we have to presume what is the rate going to be in future, and accordingly we'll keep in mind and decide the selling price. So